Elena woke to the scent of jasmine and leather. Her head pounded as she blinked against the dim light filtering through blackout curtains. The bed beneath her was softer than any she'd ever known, king-sized, draped in silk sheets the color of midnight.
Where am I?
The last thing she remembered was Damien's voice. "Hello, little wife." And then darkness. She sat up too fast, the room spinning. Her fingers dug into the sheets as she took in her surroundings. A lavish bedroom, all dark wood and gold accents. No windows, only one door. Prison. Elena swung her legs over the edge of the bed, her bare feet sinking into plush carpet. She wore a white silk slip, not her own. The thought of him undressing her made her stomach twist. A silver breakfast tray sat on the nightstand. Fresh fruit, pastries, a steaming cup of coffee, and a note in sharp, familiar handwriting. "Eat, you'll need your strength." She hurled the tray against the wall with a scream. The door clicked open. Damien leaned against the doorframe, watching her with icy calm. He was taller than she remembered. The boy who had once picked wildflowers for her was gone, if it replaced by a man carved from marble and menace. His black suit was perfectly tailored, his dark hair swept back, revealing the faint scar above his eyebrow, the one he'd gotten protecting her from a falling branch when they were children.
"You always were dramatic,"
he said, stepping inside. Elena lunged for the shattered porcelain on the floor, gripping a jagged shard.
"Stay back."
Damien didn't even blink. He closed the distance in 3 strides, wrenching the shard from her hand. Blood welled on her palm, but she refused to flinch.
"I paid $500 million for you,"
he murmured, thumb brushing the cut.
"Breaking my things is bad manners."
She spat in his face, for a heartbeat, silent. Then Damien backhanded her. Not hard enough to bruise, just enough to sting, just enough to remind her, "He owns you now." Elena touched her lip, shocked. The boy who had once cried when she scraped her knee now watched her bleed with detached interest.
"Get dressed,"
he said, tossing a black dress onto the bed.
"You have guests."
The guests were a parade of wolves. Sophia Laurent arrived first, a viper in emerald green, Damien's business partner, and more if the rumors were true. She circled Elena like a shark.
"Aren't you precious?"
Sophia purred, adjusting Elena's collar with sharp red nails.
Damien always did have a weakness for strays.
Elena jerked away.
"And you? What's your excuse for being here?"
Sophia's smile didn't reach her eyes.
"I keep his empire running while he plays with broken things."
Before Elena could retort, a servant appeared. A timid girl with downcast eyes. She pressed a napkin into Elena's hand, whispering,
"Your brother lives. Check the vents."
Then she was gone. Elena's breath caught. That night, Elena pried open the penthouse vents. The ducts were tight, dusty, but she squeezed through, following the faint hum of voices. Damien's study. She pressed her ear to the grate.
"Victor wants proof she's compliant."
Sophia hissed.
"She will be,"
Damien replied, tone glacial.
"And if she isn't, you know the price for defiance."
A pause. Then, so quiet, Elena barely heard.
"Then I'll pay it."
Her pulse roared. Back in her room, Elena's fingers brushed loose wallpaper behind a painting. Her painting, one she'd done as a child. Damien had kept it. Behind it, a safe. Her father's initials stared back at her.
"Looking for something?"
Elena whirled. Marco, Damien's hulking enforcer, filled the doorway, but instead of dragging her to his boss, he tossed her a key.
"For when you're ready."
He rumbled, then vanished. Lucian Moretti arrived with a smirk and a bottle of champagne.
"Miss Vasquez,"
he drawled, kissing her hand.
"a pleasure to see you. Vertical."
Elena yanked her hand back, but not before feeling the slip of paper he left in her palm. Damien watched them like a hawk. The dinner was a masquerade of civility. Crystal glasses, rare steak, Sophia's too sweet laughter. And then,
"Ah, the prodigal daughter."
Elena's wineglass slipped. There, reflected in the mirror behind her, stood Victor Crow, sipping cognac like a king. Damien's hand clamped on her thigh under the table. A warning, a promise.
"Miss Vasquez."
Victor toasted.
"How inevitable."
The lights flickered. Gunfire shattered the windows. Marco burst in, blood streaking his shirt.
"Boss, we've got traitors. They're inside."
Chaos erupted. As guards dragged Elena away, she caught one last glimpse of Victor, smiling as the chandelier crashed onto the table. And in the smoke, a figure moved. A man with her brother's eyes.